Good morning, everybody. I wanted to come to you today with a new series that I'm going to start. Um, I am going to be talking about my medical history. I believe that we are living in a time where if we as women don't start speaking up about our experiences with the healthcare system, then we are headed down some really scary roads. And hopefully, through this series, people can understand where my passion comes from to fight for the least of these and to fight for everybody to have the right to universal health care. Now, I am a lot different than most people. My medical history story starts at about the age of 3, one that I can vividly remember. Um, I also want to let you know that this is not intended to diagnose, to treat, to suggest any kind of medical advice. This is simply to tell my story. I will not mention doctors. I will not mention hospitals. I will only mention my experiences. I will not use names except my own. And my first story happened at the ripe age of 3. I was on vacation and I was being just the normal 3-year old, and I tripped and I fell, and I busted my head on the bumper of our camper. Now, I don't remember any of that, but I do remember the doctors wheeling me back to an emergency room, operating room. I remember the bright light being shown and shined in my eyes. I remember being scared out of my mind, and I remember screaming at the top of my lungs. I remember being held down, and I remember my dad busting through that operating room to find out what the heck they were doing to his little girl. Now, those are memories, core memories, that are stuck with me for the rest of my life. What I call that is medical PTSD. Now, I don't fault anybody in that situation. They stitched up my hand and they dealt the best they could with a very scared and erratic 3-year old. However, it doesn't have to be that way. And all I'm calling for is for women to be listened to, for children to be listened to, and for doctors to understand that sometimes the treatments that you put us through and the inability to listen to us gives us medical PTSD. I am only here to help. I am not here to blame. I am here to speak the truth, and I hope that I can change some lives with this. Like I said, I will only be talking about my experiences. And I can tell you at this point in time in my life, I have had over 10 surgeries. So buckle up. This series might be long, it might be hard to hear sometimes, and I might shed some tears. But I hope to all of those who love me and to all of those who find me during their medical journey that just need some advice, to need to know how to make it through the next day, that I'm here for you. And I am going to talk about my experiences. And I am going to hope that our medical system changes.